Welcome to this week's Monday podcast. We'll be picking up on the Havamal starting from stanza
55.
Just a reminder, it is the Jackson Crawford edition of the Poetic Edda. And you can get this on Amazon. About $15.99.
As always, we're not sponsored by Amazon or Jackson Crawford, but you should still hit them up anyways.
We just want to also to make sure you guys have the appropriate ability to get the same information that we are using to either read along with us or study and subvert our ideas with your own, please, in the comment section.
Pretty please. We love comparing and contrasting between different translations. It is a hobby, so we would love to hear your interpretation from whatever translation you are using.
Again, like I said in the last video, I'll say it again in this one because it's a very true statement. This is some heavy stuff. There is a lot to interpret and to politely debate about.
Yes.
And on that note, let's begin. Stanza 55. You should be only a little wise, never too wise. A wise man's heart is seldom glad if he's truly wise. You should be only a little wise, never too wise. It's best not to know your fate beforehand. You'll live happier if you don't.
One of the main reasons that they repeat the beginning of so many of these stanzas is for the kinning. The way it was written in Old Norse made it more of a rhyme and had more alliteration, so they just repeat it line to line to make it the actual amount that needs to be used to make it actually skaldic. So if you're ever wondering, that's why they repeat a lot.
And there's some later on in the deeper sections of the Havamal that do it
every
15 times over.
Loud Fafnir gets mentioned a lot.
Yep. I don't want to read those ones.
57. A torch is lit by another, and burns till it burns out. A fire is kindled by another fire. A man becomes wise by speaking with other men, but foolish by keeping to himself. Rise early if you want to take another man's property, or his life. A sleeping wolf seldom wins a sheep, or a sleeping warrior a victory. Rise early if you have no one to work for you, and get straight to work. You lose more than time if you sleep when it dawns, for the early riser, wealth is half won. You should know how to dry logs for firewood, and bark for roofing. I was about to woof. And also this, how to measure time and the seasons.
Used to be a lot more difficult.
A lot more.
It's really just a master your craft.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
This is definitely a section where in which it's like with the torches lit by another.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of what we spoke about in the last video. You know, this is hard to do unless you're in a community. Mm-hmm. This is hard enough of a faith to wade through on your own. Go to a torch that's been lit. Go to someone who has some kind of grasp on what's going on. Let them light your torch.
Get lit, fam.
Go to a well and drink from it.
You will. She said it. You'll actually see it a lot if you're a part of any community on like Facebook. You can tell who keeps to their own beliefs rather than discussing it with others. The keyboard warriors, the ones who will try to point out every flaw in everything that you have to say, are the narrow-minded ones that have only done a little bit of research and don't discuss with anybody. They are right, you are wrong, end of discussion, and that's just no way to be.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much of our history that's unwritten that these experts on Facebook will argue every point about with you. You know, but the more you talk within the community, the more you'll actually learn.
Yeah, there's so many subjects going to be like, oh, well, this was this way and this was this way. And like, okay, what are your sources? Well, I don't have any. I just feel that. If you're talking about the way someone makes you feel or the way that a god has shown himself to you or things like that, that is entirely up to personal perception.
It's called a UPG. I don't remember what it stands for, but that's what it means.
Right. Now, on the other end, though, if it was like, oh, well, Vikings didn't fight that way. They fought this way, and they fought like this, this, and this, and this. You don't know that. We have no idea how much the shield wall was actually used. We have no idea how many of them had swords. Probably not a lot, though, because most burials you find like a spear and a sword, and that's a chieftain, and that's about it. So we had to take those things. We had to take these small little things that we found. We know through the contact of the Normans and the English that they were constantly fighting against shield walls. So they must have used it obviously a lot. But there's no actual written down hard proof. It's just taking the bits and pieces from around the world and collectively creating an opinion. When at the end of the day, it's still just an opinion.
Mm. And stanza 61. You should always go out with your hair combed and a meal in your belly. Even if you can't afford good clothes, you should not be ashamed of your shoes and pants, nor of your horse, even if it's not a good one.
A lot of truth there, honestly.
Yeah.
And also, another pointing out of don't be hangry.
And watch your hygiene.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's very much a, look presentable.
And be prepared for the day.
Right. I mean, if you go out into the world and get stuck on the side of the road because your car broke down, you don't want to be broken down hungry, because then your day's just going to get shittier and shittier with every passing minute. At least if your belly's full, you're like, all right, I can sit here for at least another hour.
Right.
A hungry eagle snaps his beak and stretches out his neck when the sea comes into sight. People get the same look about them when they walk among strangers and have no one to speak well of them. If you want to be called wise, you should know how to ask and answer wisely. Tell your secret to one person, never to two. Everyone knows if three people know.
Gossip chain.
Yep.
People will find out.
A wise man should use his abilities only in moderation. Otherwise, when he is in battle, he'll learn that no one is bravest of all. You will often get repayment in kind for the words you speak to others. It's a nice short stanza.
Yeah, and it holds a lot of power behind it.
Yes, it does.
Because that is a lot of truth in there. When you put good into a relationship or into the world or into beginning friendships, it will come back to you. Of course, a lot of other cultures take like the threefold laws and stuff with modern day Wicca and whatnot.
Karma.
Or karma. It's that same basic Orlog weird kind of thing that we have. Put good vibes out and surround yourself with that, and they will come back to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, and especially like for the words, like you were saying when you first meet people. If I walked up to you and shook your hand, that's a good start to a friendship. But if I walked to you and said, "Fuck you, Chris," the first time I met you, I'm gonna get punched in the face.
You buddy.
That would have been funny though. So I would have never been allowed to recruit again.
But that's really how it is. I mean, you want good, be good. You want bad, be stupid.
And especially with the gods too. When we go out and not like some faiths that let it go door to fucking door. When we go out though and we speak about our gods, when people ask us questions and we're well informed about it, that good energy we're putting out shines an amazing light on our religion and pulls us away from the stereotypical ignorant ass Asatru bros and skinheads, and makes us this sect of people that are actually knowledgeable and want the world to be a better place for all religions. We just want ours to have precipice again.
Right.
Well, on that note, though, a lot of people in this community, especially people who are non-heathen, so the pagan community as a whole, they view heathens as just massive assholes because we don't put up with a lot of shit. We're just like, okay, so we're gonna leave. This is obviously just a circle jerk. We don't want a part of this. We're gonna pay for our meals and bounce. This is something we've done.
Yeah, many times.
But when they come and meet us and they're actually on a level playing ground, like when we go to Pagan Pride Day, they see that we're actually genuine good people, and it just it changes the whole idea and concepts that everyone has on heathens and Norse pagans in general. To something a lot more relatable, and something that a couple Wiccans that I've actually even met were like, this actually, the way you guys are talking, this really resonates with me. I may consider completely converting. Well,
and not on the conversion path like that, but I work, not work, she's since left my place of work, but with a Christian pastor, and we've had long conversations about both of our faiths, enough to where our public bloat that we have coming up July June 22nd.
Be there.
Or be square.
She wants to come out. Obviously, she's a pastor. She's not going to be converted. But there's been enough of an interest because of knowing what, what I'm speaking of when I talk to her.
Right.
That she now has a desire to learn, I mean, she's used me in sermons.
Right. And that's the thing. Because these two cultures can coexist.
Yep.
And it just takes having intellectual people with intellectual conversations to understand points of each religion being nearly fucking identical.
Yeah. Stanza 66. I have come too early to some events, and too late to others. The drinks were all gone, or else not even made. A hated man gets little hospitality. Now and then I've been invited to a friend's home as long as I had no need for food, as long as I could make my inhospitable host's cellars fuller rather than emptier. Fire is best for mortals and sunshine, and also good health, if you have it, and living beyond reproach. No, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my brain clicked too slow. So essentially with this, take care of yourself, take care of everything around you that deals with yourself, but do so in a way that you cannot be questioned. Take care of your reputation. That is something that when it comes down to it, that's one of the things that we truly have.
Yeah.
One of the only things is our reputation. I have a reputation for being a hard ass and kind of a bitch. But those who know most of that also know that I'm stupid friendly and I'll bend over backwards to do things for people, and people try to take advantage of that. So, taking care of your reputation and making sure anything you do is beyond reproach, that includes how you act in public, the way you address people, whether or not you like them. This is something that we've had to talk about in this kindred quite a bit, because there's several hot-tempered people, and I am one of them, and I will admit it. But when it comes to public confrontations, we are of the mindset, whatever we do, we must be beyond reproach. This cannot come back to us on a negative light. And that's realistically how you need to take a lot of things like that.
A lot of people I would really like to just deck square between the eyes. A lot of people I know will also take that to a point where I'll end up getting arrested because they can't take a personal fight personally. So I don't even bother.
Yeah, you can't challenge people to Homgong anymore.
Right.
It's a shame.
Many of them will just say no.
Or
Bitch.
run scared.
Or cry.
Both. All of the above.
Like a whiny puppy.
Anyways.
Stanza 69. No one is totally wretched, even if his health is bad. Some find happiness in their children, some in their kin, some in their money, and some in the work well done.
So, take over. Stanza 70. Better to be alive, no matter what, than dead. Only the living enjoy anything. I saw a rich man's house, but it was on fire, and he lay dead outside the door. A limping man can ride a horse. A handless man can herd. A deaf man can fight and win. It's better even to be blind than fuel for the funeral pyre. What can a dead man do?
I love those two, know, and you can even bring it back to like the whole suicide thing. If you're dead, you cannot make things better.
Right.
You're useless if you're dead.
Yep.
Stay tuned for our suicide video.
It's gonna be opinionated.
It's gonna be a doozy.
Alrighty. 72. Better to have a son than not, even if he's born late in life. Even if he's born after you die. You'll rarely see memorials or graves standing near the road that were raised for men without sons. Of course, that also comes from a time when procreation wasn't easy, so they were constantly harping about making kids. Nowadays, there's too many of us.
I'm
Yeah, but-
okay if people die.
But I also think that it has to do with, leaving a
Leaving people to remember you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you have no kids, then who's going to remember you when you're gone? Once your friends have moved on with their lives, slowly they start to forget about you, then they die, and then you're gone for good.
Right.
Well, and that's why when you do this, like if you decide that you're not the parenting type,
Yeah.
you don't want children. However, you love being the crazy fun uncle to your godchildren. Be the best crazy fun uncle you can be. Make those the children that remember you and
Yeah.
pass on your story.
Because that's one of the biggest things in our faith. It is what you leave after you've died and how people remember you. That's how you live forever. The Achilles syndrome, in a way.
Absolutely.
And if Achilles had known of the Norse, he would have converted, moved up to Scandinavia, and be like, "These are my people."
That's right. No, I very much, I'm of the belief that I am a failure if in 50 years or 100 years, when my bones are dust in the ground, if people don't remember me, I have failed.
Right.
You know.
Good. Remember you. Good.
Well, with the age of the internet, that's not an issue anymore.
Right. But the main thing
Well-
is, if you can leave a bad legacy, or you can leave a very well crafted legacy. In the middle, you'll be forgotten. Unless you're just stupid rich. Alright. So then stanza 73. 2 men will defeat 1. Your tongue can endanger your head. In every hand hidden by a cloak, I expect to see a weapon. The seaman is glad at evening, looking forward to his dinner, with just a short distance to row home. But an autumn night is untrustworthy. Many things can get worse in only 5 days, and even more in a month. The ignorant man does not know how little he knows. You become foolish by listening to fools. One man is rich, another man is poor. Neither has the other to blame. That last part is really powerful, I think.
Yes. Especially in today's current society.
Mm-hmm. And then we get on to a lot of people's very favorite part of the Havamal.
Yep.
76. Cows die. Family die. You will die the same way. But a good reputation never dies for the one who earns it well. Cows die. Family die. You will die the same way. I know only one thing that never dies. The reputation of the one who is dead.
Which is why everything you do needs to be beyond reproach.
Mm-hmm. That's why I don't go knocking heads every chance I get.
Do it with a reason.
Yes, if you have reason to. I saw big herds of cattle owned by a rich man's sons. Now they carry a beggar's staff. Wealth is like the twinkling of an eye. No friend could be more faithless. If an unwise man chances upon money or a woman's love, he will grow more arrogant, but not more intelligent. He will be deceived about his own worth. What you ask of the runes will prove true. They are gifts of the Azir, made by the gods and painted by Odin. You'll learn best with your mouth shut. I love the whole mouth shut part of this. The best way to learn the runes is to study them and read them and learn their names and learn their meanings. You don't have to speak a word to do that. Then on top of that, to really learn the magic behind it, you need to practice with them daily. You need to commune with the gods. You need to be in your mind and in your heart connected to those runes.
Yep.
Or else the meanings and the power will flow right over you like a joke that no one got. It's a very powerful thing the runes are.
Well, and something else that comes to mind with this is how you don't even have to speak what you're asking. It's one of those things of you grab the runes, you're just like, okay. And if you're connected enough to them, or if that's the skill you have, you can just look at them. You don't have to look at each individual one. You just hear what the gods say.
Right.
If you don't have that skill, if you don't have that ability, then you can read them and still get the same conclusion.
And even if you're completely confused, sitting there in that confused state and just trying to figure out what is going on, you scatter them to the wind and you scatter them upon the cloak, or however you want to pull them that feels right to you, and the gods will send to you the energy and the knowledge that you need for that moment in time to then ask the better questions and get the more precise answers. That's the whole point of runes. That's why I've always enjoyed runes more than tarot when I was coming into the pagan world. Tarot cards are a bit more, you can make your own meaning through what you see there and pin it to what you think is in here. But with the runes, they're very, very precise in this is this and this is this and that one's inverted, so that bad shit's about to happen, or the change of it's about to happen. So you need to be careful. Runes are not set in stone.
Unless you carve them in stone.
But the fate itself can be changed. So you can take that bad energy and that bad prediction and learn from it and change it.
And why is it not set in stone, Chris?
Oh, because the only thing that's set in stone is your death. Everything else is completely up to you to decide. For a second there, I thought you were asking about why it's not set in stone. Because diamond head dremel bits are expensive. Alright, I'll read a few more and then let you take over.
We don't have a lot of time.
I'm going to read one more, and then we're going to get on to the next video after we say goodbye. Alrighty. Don't praise the day until it's night. Don't praise your wife until she's buried. Don't praise the sword till after the fight, nor your daughter till she's married. Don't praise the ice until it's crossed, nor the ale until you're sloshed.
Well, fuck you. Don't praise your daughter until she's married, like, damn.
There are, of course, a lot of things in the Edda that are set in the 900s.
Right.
That's right.
So don't expect them to be...
Until
Wait
she's
until
buried?
84.
Yeah.
84.
So the thing with the wife until you're buried is the aspect of after she's buried and you don't see any other kids running around, she never cheated. Hey, she was trustworthy. It's the same
Good
with the
job,
sword.
wife.
Don't trust the sword till after the victory, because the sword can break in the middle of a fight, then you're dead.
Yep.
But after the victory, that sword can shatter all at once.
Right.
Still expensive.
And then your
but-
daughter until she's married, you know.
Well,
she's a
and-
burden on your household until she's got her own household.
And even if the first half of your day has gone great, and you praise the day at noon, you still have several hours until nightfall.
Oh, and then
get fucked.
right. Oh, so noon's awesome. That's cool. Okay, well, at 12:35, a lightning storm rolls in, and your house gets burned down from a lightning strike.
Yeah.
That day wasn't so good.
Right.
So then, we're going to cut this one a little bit short. We didn't get through as many stanzas today because we were talking. And that's one of the whole aspects of this, is us talking. If there were any stanzas that we kind of glossed over through reading that you want us to explain more, please put it down in the comments. We could make very personal videos just for people. Like us on Instagram, and we could pop out real quick minute videos just about certain stanzas.
Or, you know, if you don't necessarily want a video, Aaron, and you just want a phone call, Aaron, just call me, Aaron. So
Not peanut gallery.
if you have resources or you have questions, feel free to reach out. We can make videos. We can just explain it over text.
Yep.
If I'm bored enough, I can give you a phone call.
I got no problem putting that shit out there.
I mean, mine is, I own a photography company, so my phone number's everywhere. But yeah, please discuss this with us. We want to help people, and
Yep.
this is a way for us to sit and actually discuss this and get to understand everyone else's opinions. Chris and I know each other's opinions on just everything, because we've already done this.
Got it out.
But this is a way for us to experience this with Brian and Little Acorn, as well as for you guys to watch. So,
And not even with us. The other people in the comment section could help give an answer that even we couldn't
Absolutely.
give. Because
absolutely.
that's the point of the community to us.
And that's what we want to build on this channel, is a community.
Yep, exactly.
We as a kindred know a lot, but we don't know it all.
Exactly.
So if you have your own inputs on it, share them.
Until the random die, you guys pop into a video and you see my left eye missing, then I might know a lot more. I'm gonna find that welt one of these days.
Also, if you want a chance to be in one of our podcasts, go and guess what we're making on the Instagram. I have ways to add you to the podcast, so not a problem. Whoever guesses it right gets to be on it.
And the pictures she's talking about are 2 buckets attached to some thingies. And it'll be her and our other kindred member, Roman, making those things. Even I don't know what the hell they are.
I don't either.
No one knows, because we're not telling anyone till they're done, except for
They're statues
Roman's
of
wife.
Cthulhu.
No, they are not. So feel free to guess if you want to guess. If not, we'll have the pictures of what they really are up soon. And if you already see those, guessing is closed.
Right.
So we're gonna finish this video, like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. We put new videos out every Monday at 5:45. And stay tuned for new videos that we're getting ready to post on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Mm-hmm. We're going to bring a lot more to you guys. More or less. We need you all to share this stuff as much as possible so we can start really making this our living because we want to.
This is what we like to do.
Shameless
We like
plug
to
for
talk.
us.
Shameless plug for us. Yeah. Anyways, as we always say,
Thank you for drinking from the well.